Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It's week 5 and playoffs are going to start being on the line. Let's distract you from all the League of Legends action. I'm Cradden, and with me for this or that, once again, it's Trololo. How you doing?
Doing good, Cradden. Didn't get 2-0 this week, so much better than last week. I can tell you that for sure. How's it going with you?
Yeah, going very well. Natsk actually went against every sort of betting ever and won a series, so we're going to start seeing flying pigs and hell-melting snowballs in this week, I'm pretty sure.
Ideal. Right, on to the first slide we go. Which buff is more ridiculous? Fiddlesticks or a Gangplank?
Right, you're gonna have to make some distracting sounds to cover me from Google because I don't know the buffs that have been given to either of those characters.
The Fiddlesticks buff was that his Terrify works off of his passive, which is when he stands still, he turns into a effigy.
Yes.
And something else, I think, but I can't quite remember what that was, and I have absolutely no idea what's happened to Gangplank. I think Gangplank's really good, but I also think he's a lot harder to play than Fiddlesticks, so...
Are we talking about, like, reworks rather than buffs? Because I thought we were talking about 10.11 PBE balance changes for a second. I was talking, like, reworks with the powder kegs on Gangplank.
No. Wait, actually...
This is a very ambiguous question. So,
if it's the rework, then the more ridiculous one has got to be Gangplank, because Fiddlesticks still does pretty much the same thing, whereas Gangplank's actually changed into a good champ after the rework. If it's about a recent buff, no idea what happened to Gangplank. Any buffs to him don't matter to me because I only play in VL and low ranks, so nobody plays fucking Gangplank well if he was buffed at all. Fiddlesticks buff, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with that because any buff to Fiddlesticks, I've seen him once, and that time was in VL, and he slapped me about. So I'll have to say any buffs to a champ that slaps me is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that this is about the reworks and just ignore that there could be a PBA change to them both. Sorry if you watch Surrender at 20 Friends. So Gangplank, I kind of like him. I used to play him a lot because he was one of the few champions that just got passive gold, like Ash Hookshot, and it was just like, I'm just CSing and winning the lane. Whereas now he actually has mechanics, so I avoid him like the Trololo's team. And Fiddlesticks, on the other hand, you've got a lot of damage, and it's the thing I like where you get to outplay people by actually having vision advantage. So for me, the Gangplank rework buff change, it's probably more impactful for higher levels, whereas Fiddlesticks is the one I really get on board with, and he's now entering my support roster, just like Swain and 2 other champions that Horizon will know about soon.
I wish they had at least kept the old voice lines of Fiddlesticks, because now whenever he gets banned, like every single game in solo queue, or I always get asked to ban him in solo queue, and he makes the most disgusting ban sound. It's just this annoying screech. Absolutely hate it.
Yeah, other like things make annoying sounds when bans go their way, like Rock when you ban his Olaf. But well, let's ignore that for now.
That's whoever's playing against natural summon killers, heed this warning. Alright. Rock's Olaf. Alright. On to the next question we go. The better memers, the Zoomers or the Boomers?
That's excellent. And when I hear Zoomer, I think instantly of Kali, which probably says a lot. I think of mumble rap, taking Zans, like multicolored hair like Lil Pump, which I guess immediately puts me in the boomer camp. So yeah, boomers by nature of how time works have experienced more of life. So yeah, they have a better choice of memes to pick from. They're more ascended, they are wizened, they are scholars of mimeticry. How many Zoomers have heard of It's Over 9,000? I will say under 9,000 friends. Boomers every time.
You know what? When I think of Zoomer memers, I think of pretty much what's on the left. All these surreal memes that just make no fucking sense. Like, oh, by the way, let me get my can of bee-piss, right? And it's just this weird bust. And it's like, yep, that's a great meme. And when I think of boomers, I think of like the Rage comics, right? And
absolutely,
for me, it's got to be the boomers, because every time I look back at like those troll physics memes, it still cracks me up because of how terribly it's aged. Like when I was like 13 and I was looking at it, I was like, damn, that's hilarious. Comedy on the internet. Who would have thought of that? And now looking back at it, it's so bad that it's become good.
Yeah, I did enjoy the B-Pits one. Just as you said it, I couldn't suppress a chuckle. There's some merit there. However, yeah, when looking at the troll physics ones, the acquire magnets with acquire highlighted, put above car, and then climb on the magnet to get infinite levitation. You just can't replace it. And Zoomers, they've got a lot to learn, and one of the things they have to learn is that they are second-rate memers.
Exactly. But I will admit there is a place in the memes channel in VL to accommodate all.
Yes.
Except for the jungler for vengeance. Please stop posting your videos that just make even less than no sense. No.
Stop.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And moving swiftly along, we have patch 10.11 ADC changes. Were they needed, or is it a broken role that's still broken?
What are we talking about here? So we've got the health buffs for pretty much any ADC, and I think there's scaling on there as well.
And what, Kraden, don't forget 2% move speed buff on every Zeal item.
Last will suddenly shudder with nothing because he plays Ezreal anyway.
What is that, like 7 move speed on most ADCs? Useless. Like, what the... Anyway, I'll say was needed because I play a bit of ADC myself, and I must say I hate playing ADC in solo queue. I struggle in like gold. So, yep, I needed those buffs if nobody else. So,
I think it's one of those things that's evolved over time as well, because back in the day, I'll call it like early few seasons, you didn't have too many mobile champs. All your big damage dealers were like Annie or Karthus, who literally had to walk up to people. Whereas now every support has mobos, you've got fast reactions, naturally players have got more mechanics and have improved, and also you've got champions like Kiana, New Akali, and everyone that just dashes about the place 24/7. So even though 7 move speed isn't going to change your life, as the game has got more and more towards the high mobility end and the super fast reactions with more and more people playing, the top end getting more stacked, I'd say that it's more aimed at the higher elo element where it's really quick reactions required. But you definitely need them across the board to avoid Season 10 ADC lol like Season X ADC lol for the last 9 years.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, as well, another thing, since you mentioned Akali, and my mind is just completely boomed from hearing that, is before you could put a pink ward down and you can still right-click her. Now you get like the tiniest window to try and right-click her every time. And so stealth being stronger. ADCs only right-click, but if you can't right-click the enemy, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh, you can only move 7 movement speed faster into the shadow realm.
Exactly. All right, moving along. What was more valuable during quarantine? What is more valuable during quarantine, as we're still in dark times? Coins or toilet paper?
Now, I feel like the person who's made this is basically a fool at the Economics 101 class, because supply and demand, son. Toilet paper was a harshly contested commodity, and because everyone was demanding it, the supply was constricted. You could turn up to a supermarket or even your favorite 3 supermarkets and find that the only paper there was your receipt when you got out, buying nothing. However, coins, you could have 700 people on VL. Every one of them could be spamming coin every 2 minutes and 34 seconds, because that's the cooldown, by the way, just thought I'd let you know. But no matter how many people do that, everyone's going to get coins. Now, casters are going to get coins. I think it's 3 per cast. The only person that isn't going to get coins is Trav, because Joycey has this weird vendetta about him for some reason. So coins, as much as they're memed, as much as you see the Coin Boyne Hodgson thing spamming in the coins channel, it's widely more available than toilet paper was during those 2 weeks, if you remember them. It's nice, but no.
I'm gonna have to go against you here, as is tradition, right? my vast experience of the world, aka being the VL server and the people I work with. These are the human beings I've ever met in my life, right? And most of them I haven't met because it's VL. The only people that were caring about toilet paper, what was it, like 3 people I heard talking about it in VL, and my work colleagues. Useless, right? Who cares? Coins? Think about it. Everyone spamming coins, they want those coins. That's the most valuable thing. Are you gonna tell me you would rather have a roll of toilet paper than a golden quee? How dare you? Absolutely disgraceful, incorrect opinion.
Well, they can both be used for the same purpose, at least.
Okay. I could see the twinkle in your eyes. I was saying that, and you were thinking, should I even say this?
You knew, and you know what? I did it anyway.
I'm gonna have to go with coins because Quay cards are the best thing. It's like Christmas every time you open a pack. Really, you never know what you're gonna get, but you do know that you're gonna get garbage every single time. But it's just assorted garbage.
Now, hang on. While we're on the topic of Quay, did you kick him from the plague roster so that he'd have more time to make cards? What's the backstory on that one?
On why Quay's no longer with us? God rest his soul.
Gotta be points, surely.
He was. I just think he wasn't feeling it, or it's weird because the less we flamed him, the less he wanted to play. So I don't know whether he's some sort of masochist and he's not getting enough kicks from PLG anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I think he just lost motivation to have to play solo queue, and he's like, I don't want to play 6 games each week. You know what? Let's snipe a player who does from an already collapsing roster.
Oh my god!
Absolutely no problems.
Yeah, so when you see the 50 Shades of Grey Queen meme with me and him, we might have to switch roles if he's so masochistic.
Exactly. All right, I'll try and get that image out of my head as we move on to the next slide. What was the bigger regret? Law after the pub quiz or NSK applying for Div 1? As your NSK, I'll allow you to answer this one first.
Yeah, I was going to say Law's very close to my heart as well. Like, not even getting... What was it Glenn was going to do? Was it the tattoo or the baldness? And then he didn't follow up on it.
Oh, did he
Like,
not? Oh.
I think Law was paying for a service that was not rendered, although due to the finer points of contract law, he was, in a manner of speaking, screwed because he didn't actually pay for that service. So yeah, Law's out of pocket, but he's going to have a lot of coins for winning the pub quiz. I think based on the fact he was willing to throw away that much money, he's not going to give too many damns, just like in the bot lane. Okay, NSK1. I kind of like that we're in Div 1. Like, I'd rather go 0-6 in Div 1 than 6-0 in Div 2. Because at least we're playing against the best teams. By very definition, we're currently at a level higher than the Div 2 teams, although OPN will have some justification to repel that. I'm going to say no more.
I'll say... Wait, no, I actually completely forgot what I was going to say. Law... in the pub quiz, I mean, no problems with Law donating a bit of money. He had to at the start of war, of course.
Yeah, you're a big donator yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I was highly enraged, and I'm sure that there's no regrets from him to enrage me on that. NSK applying for Div 1. I don't know. What's your score at the moment? Are you 0-4?
Currently 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Sorry, no, we've got to have lost one more than that. I don't even know. We've won 1 and lost the remaining 2 or 3.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah, you did say you'd won 1 as well. Well, I must say there's no regrets. If it was an embarrassing 0-win streak the entire time, I would say that's terrible. But winning at least 1 game, so you can say, look, I've proved I'm in Div 1. Say you're like a silver player, right? You play 100 games in Diamond 4. You win 1 of them, you're like, hey, man, you single out that game, I'm a Diamond 4 player. That's what I'd do, at least.
And you know what? I can look at everyone in my eye. I can look at my biggest fans and my biggest haters at the end. And after dabbing, I can say, Me and my team won a game in a division where the golden Tralulu card existed. And you know what? That's going to be on my gravestone.
I hope so. I hope so. All right, let's move on from that.
Yeah, quickly, I might add.
All right, CLT collapsing and CLTA rebranding to 7DS. Is that a poggers or is that a PP hands?
I love the PP hands pose as well. It's almost like talk to the hand with Claytrons there. So yeah, 7 Deadly Sins, it depends on your argument, because Claytron's Academy, they're probably right to change, because you don't want to be an academy of a team that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no point being that, because surely the goal is to develop, and how can you develop into a senior team that is literally Shadow Realm itself? However, it depends on your viewpoint. Did CLTA rebrand because of their personal connections? You've got Ice in there, I think Kraft's in there, and I think Harshy's in there, all connected to 7DS in some way. Or is it, we're going to win the split, we're already 3-0, we're locked in, may as well pick a winning team's name and then brag about how we personally and not other people have won 7 titles or whatever it was. Opinion is split, and I think that's the source of this question. I love it. It just brings a lot more, I'll say, heritage into VL, even though it's a slightly different roster. Yeah, it's great, but it doesn't really look good for a team that won at the top level to have won Division 4. It's a tad yikes.
I'll say rebranding to 7DS, that's poggers, because it means I don't have to look at the disgusting Claytron's logo. I absolutely hate it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the 7 Deadly Sins logo either, but it is definitely an improvement. In my personal opinion, don't attack me, it's not a fact. And Claytron's collapsing, well, I like those boys, and it seemed like they got along well, and I think half of them have already snuck away to other teams.
Yep,
So,
we've got them.
yeah. Of course, the black hole that is NSK.
You're next.
Yeah. maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I'll say that's a Pepe Hounds, is that team splitting up, because I quite like. I'll tell you what, they actually they didn't do too badly versus Quake when we scrimmed against them, but that was ages ago. But still, I like a lot of the people in there, and I would have hoped that they kept playing together. But you know, if they all want to play in Div 3, more power to it. If Div 2 is too much for all of them, they think, look, I want a bit of easier games, I'll join the academy team.
What they've basically done is they won Div 3 without dropping a game, decided Div 2 was too hard, and so they're going to attempt to beat the Div 3 world record again. Exactly.
12-0 in Div 3. The dream. Alright. Moving on from that, what do we have? What gave the bigger headache? Morning after the pub quiz or watching Cyrez D drafting?
Ooh, that's huge, and Cyrez D drafts are very close to my heart. He gets memed on a lot, and as someone who doesn't know much about drafting, I look at the comps he drafts, he puts a lot of preparation in. I won't reveal too much, but he likes to set up what he's going to ban, does a lot of research into his opponents, and then has quite a clear goal as to what he wants to do. I think his drafts seem okay, but that's either gonna less vilify him or point me out as a giant idiot who isn't seeing an obvious hole with drafting. Morning after the pub quiz, though, that was big. Like, I went more than my usual 2 bottles of cider, which normally would be enough to knock me unconscious. And yeah, it was quite a get-up. I think the bigger headache was definitely the morning after the pub quiz for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. Mostly because okay. Well, first of all, the morning after the pub quiz, nightmare for me. I also drank a bit too much more than I usually do. Lost the solo queue game or 2 on my Smurf. Somehow lost the 1v1 to Sushi. Like it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
that should just tell you that I drank too much.
Was it while you were unconscious at your desk? Because that must have been close.
Well, yeah, that happens. I get a bit tired when I drink. Watching Cyrus D draft, I mean, to be honest, I don't watch him draft because I don't watch any game that's not a plague game for the ego boost. But I will use Ice's words. out of context, I thought
What?
your draft was really good on Thursday. Was really good. You drafted really well for your team, and based on Ice's opinion on Cyrus that he is the god drafter, I'll have to say it's not a headache at all. It's a blessing to watch Cyrus D draft. And so the
Yeah.
bigger headache's going to have to be the morning after the pub quiz.
Yeah, Ice. Sirez has his detractors, but according to Ice, Sirez really understands what a Group A or B team needs to win. So I think we can. Yeah,
team.
I think we can really settle ourselves with those words. That although Sirez D has his detractors, Ice really has a giant confidence in this man. He's behind him all the way.
Exactly. All right. Next up, we go. The bigger impact transfer: Rock to NSK or Igni Luke to play.
Okay, so this is huge. It involves both our teams, and it involves a lot of recent action. Rock is my new Formula One teammate as well. We're both going to be in the pink Racing Point cars to show off our big toxic masculinity. And that means that we're going to be backing up jungle and support, doing the coordination, and also hitting Brandon at the same time on track. So a lot of really good synergy there between us. Igni Luke, as much as he's a really good player, I hope you like bird noises in your call, because that's what's going to happen when he locks in Quinn's support every game. You're just going to be looking for Lordio to miss his Greg Assault again, and suddenly you'll be distracted by caw, and then he's going to fly across your screen. He's a good player, but where's the synergy? I don't see it.
Alright, okay. I'll say, before Igni Luke, we've only played one scrim, I think. Maybe two. My memory is very hazy. Not to quote the Childish Gambino song, but we only played one or maybe two scrims with Igni Luke, and Lordio has felt a lot of weight off his shoulders, because when we play, I'm a complete mute. I'm so busy focusing on, I've got to get these last hits. I've got to steal all of Lordio's jungle camps. Merst is busy doing top lane things. I mean,
He probably exists somewhere in the
game.
Yeah.
And last is chilling. So, and most of the time, Lordio was just doing all the comms, every single bit of it for us. And as you may have seen from clips, it's just we don't talk in fights at all unless it's Lordio saying something or Last saying, peel for me, 2 seconds before he dies. And now it's Igni Luke and Lordio as a synergy. It's done so much for us. Mostly for Lordio being able to actually focus on playing the game instead of playing the game for all four of us. Rock to NSK, I mean, you didn't have a jungle main in the jungle before. So I will, despite the fact that Igni Luke is huge for Plague, say that that's probably bigger, is that you now have someone who's at least played some jungle. Although I will admit, from watching Rock stream, not played very well.
Did you watch the Lee Sin, or was it something else?
I think I watched some Elise games, and I was impressed, but not in a massively positive way, I must say.
Yeah, whenever you have Shenzhen join your organization, you immediately become a bad Elise player by comparison. And absolutely, as it turns out on stream. That's actually a really big point you brought up about shot calling, because I described myself as the main shot caller on Natsk. That is until Rock joined. He provides so much information, and I think he's actually now the biggest strategic shot caller for Natsk, whereas I'm more about providing information and trying to call missing, seeing what they're going for. So if we all sort of follow Rock's call strategically, and I tell the team why it's either going to work or not going to work, and he adjusts, that's actually a really good partnership for us as well. So I think, I don't know how much the person who put this question together knew, but this is actually the addition of two great shot calling voices to their respective teams. So I'd agree with the NSK one just because of the jungle main, but it's actually a really nice boon for both teams to now have a lot more focus. And when you add a second shot caller to your team, it's about, does that add to the team or does it make things confusing in fights? My answer is, when you have Lordio and Lore on the teams, it's always confusing.
Actually, yeah. Sorry, talking about that, I completely forgot that your team was in like an exact same situation, because I watched your stream of your game against us to see how tilted you were at me playing Turf mostly.
Classic.
And you were literally the only one talking like pretty much the entire game, which is exact same as Lordia was for all of our games. So yeah.
2 supports, 2 junglers. That's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have hands. We don't need to do anything, so we get to talk a lot, and that's really the goal of tonight's stream. If you're a support or a jungler, you don't have hands, you don't have mechanics. You just need to do what you can so that the real players on your team get to show off their big skills on Zed. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap up this week's episode of this week's episode 5 of This or That. Get that all in one sentence. I'm going to see if there's a stream schedule, and indeed, we're going to have Horizon Light. Nope, that's Tuesday. We don't know what's on Thursday yet. Enjoy a surprise game, ladies and gentlemen. Have fun.